Hello and welcome to Philip Lymbery, Chief Executive of Compassion in World Farming. Thank you so very much for speaking to me today.
It's a real pleasure, Wendy. Thanks for having me along. Well, we're doing a range of things at the moment. One is to try and bring an end once and for all to the live animal export trade from the UK. We are hoping that the post-Brexit government will hold to its promises and end this trade. But we're also having to take the Scottish government to judicial review, would you believe, because they think that it's perfectly legal to put baby calves into trucks, take them away from their mother at a very early age, before they're even weaned, and to send them off to countries abroad to end up in veal systems that are often so poor that they'd be illegal here. So that's one of our big campaigns. We're also campaigning to end the cage age, to get rid of cages and crates, period. And the other thing, which is very topical, of course, is we're pressing governments to ensure that they bring in transformational change to end factory farming. Otherwise, we fear that in this COVID era, the next pandemic could well be on our plate.
It's very frightening.
Indeed, and you know very well, Wendy, the issues at play, and your fantastic film Mercy really brings to life the horror of the slaughter industry, and we've seen a plethora of outbreaks, serious outbreaks of COVID-19 in slaughterhouses throughout the UK and in other countries too, and it really does show how infested the meat industry is, not only with disease but also with cruelty. And the two things go hand in hand. Keeping animals caged, crammed and confined in factory farms really is the perfect breeding ground for disease. We need to stop that. And then when you extrapolate that out to the long distance transport trade and the industrial slaughter industry, you can see that the harm we're doing to animals is coming back to bite us. We need to stop it for the animals' sake, for our sake too.
How can we raise the awareness to people? I don't know how aware everyone is of these facts, because it seems like the pandemic we think of as coming from away from us, from wet markets and stuff like this, but not within our own farming industries. It's very hidden, it seems.
It is very hidden, and that's why Compassion in World Farming is a pivotal part of the movement, I'd suggest, to end factory farming and farm animal cruelty, and to wildlife too. And so join the movement. Get involved with Compassion in World Farming, sign up to our campaign newsletters, and we'll show you how to help make a difference. And we can all make a difference, not only by getting involved with Compassion's campaigns, but also 3 times a day we have a fantastic opportunity to change the world through our eating habits, to eat more plants, perhaps only plants. And if people are eating meat and dairy, to choose that which comes from non-factory farmed sources like organic or free range or pasture fed. In this way, we really can make a difference within ourselves, and we can make a difference to the outside world too.
How can people find out a little bit more about how bad a non-vegan diet is for them, really?
Well, I think going into the literature that's available or through Google on the websites, I think the literature is there. But I think that each of us have to make our own choices here and find the balance. But I think the important thing is really to cut down as a starting point. Cut down on meat and dairy. If the 95% of people that eat animal products cut down by a quarter, a third, a half, that would be a huge difference when we think that 70-80 billion land animals alone are reared and slaughtered for food every year. It's a frightening prospect. For every 1 billion people, it comes with 10 billion animals reared and slaughtered every year. So cutting down by half, by a third, by a quarter, as much as you feel able to as a starting point is what I would suggest, and make sure that any that you do have does come from more humane sources, pasture fed, free range, organic.
Where are the animals exported from? What port in England?
Well, they're tending to be exported from Dover and from Ramsgate. Ramsgate is a big focus, and the animals are being drawn from all over the country. Calves coming as far away as from Scotland, which is why we've got this judicial review of the Scottish government, because we believe their interpretation of the law is unsound. That they should be acting with the rest of the UK government to stop live exports once and for all. But you know, this is a success story, Wendy, because when I started out on this 30 years ago, you know, we had the barricades in Brightlingsea and in Shoreham, in Coventry, and all over the country to stop live exports. 2.5 million sheep, lambs, and calves every year were being exported back then. Now it's down to a few tens of thousands, but that's a few tens of thousands too many. So what we're doing is pushing hard now to finish it off once and for all. And we want the Scottish government to stop this nonsense of saying that it's legal, that it's acceptable, that, you know, it's even thinkable to put baby calves into dirty great trucks and then ship them on journeys that can last up to 60 hours. What are we thinking? Let's get this job done.
Fantastic work, because I know there's a big group that meet at Ramsgate regularly to protest against that. Is it right that the animals aren't given any food or water on their journey, and they're not allowed really any checks when they get to the port?
I mean, look, there are rules in place. There are rules to say that, you know, the journey times have to be so long, and that the animals have to be fed and watered at different intervals if they're going on these long journeys. But what we do know is the official investigations into the enforcement of the law shows that the enforcement is pitiful, not just in Britain, but especially on the European continent and beyond. Pitiful, Wendy. So when the animals get across the channel, the animals, be they calves or sheep that are exported, a number of things could be happening to them. The calves may continue on long journeys as far away as Spain to go to veal systems. The sheep and lambs, some of them will go to a slaughterhouse, perhaps in France, perhaps further abroad. Others may be slaughtered as part of Eid el-Kabir. They may be subject to ritual slaughter, where they're having their throats cut without pre-slaughter stunning. Whatever happens to these animals, it's a dreadful and unnecessary trade. It's archaic, and we need to stop it.